He first noticed it on a Wednesday. A plain, ordinary Wednesday. The kind of day nobody remembers later. The kind of day where life blends together hour by hour. But for Ethan, everything changed when he took a shortcut home and realized something was wrong with the way the sun hit the pavement. His shadow stretched in front of him, but he hadn't moved yet. He froze, staring at the dark outline of himself on the ground. It shifted slightly, just enough to make his stomach twist. The head tilted. His hadn't. Ethan blinked hard, convinced his eyes were lying, but the shadow moved again. Just an inch, as if reacting to something he couldn't see. "Nope," he muttered, heart racing, trying to step backward. But before he could, the shadow stepped back first. His breath caught in his throat. This wasn't real. Shadows didn't move without their owners. Shadows didn't think, react, or anticipate. But this one did. Ethan started walking faster, pretending nothing happened, hoping his mind had played a trick on him. But every few steps, he noticed it again, the shadow leaning slightly left when he walked straight, looking over its shoulder when Ethan kept his eyes down, raising one hand when Ethan's arms stayed firmly at his sides. "Stop," he whispered shakily, afraid to say it too loud. The shadow froze. Completely. Even Ethan's real movement didn't change it. His heart slammed against his ribs as he tried to convince himself he wasn't seeing what he was seeing. He slowly lifted his hand. The shadow didn't lift its hand. Instead, it raised its head and pointed toward a dark alley to the right. Ethan shook his head hard. "No, I'm not going there." The shadow pointed again, sharper this time, as if urgent. The alley was narrow, cold, and dark enough to swallow sound. No chance he was stepping into that. But the shadow took a full step in that direction, stretching away from his body, as if trying to pull him or warn him. And that's when Ethan heard it. Voices. 2 of them. Angry. Close. He stepped quietly to the end of the alley, his shadow already stretched halfway in. 2 men stood at the far end, shoving each other, arguing over something Ethan couldn't see. One of them pulled something from his pocket. Ethan's blood froze. His shadow jerked back violently, like it was trying to drag Ethan away from danger. Ethan stumbled and backed out of the alley. Within seconds, the shouting turned into running footsteps. As the men sprinted past Ethan's street, he realized something horrifying. If he had kept going down his usual shortcut, if he hadn't listened to the shadow, he would have been right in the middle of that fight. That night, Ethan stared at the ceiling in his dim room. Lights off, street lamps casting faint golden stripes across his walls. His shadow lay quietly beside his bed, normal, unmoving. But Ethan didn't sleep. He waited, and just past midnight. It moved, not violently, not threateningly, just a shift. A head tilt toward the window. Ethan whispered, "What do you want?" The shadow turned toward him, slow, intentional. Its edges flickered like smoke. Ethan's skin prickled. "Are you trying to help me?" he whispered. The shadow nodded. Not dramatically, just a small clear dip. Ethan covered his mouth with trembling fingers. Shadows didn't nod. This one did. The next few days, the shadow guided him in ways he couldn't ignore. Once, it froze in place while Ethan kept walking, and when Ethan turned back, a car sped through the crosswalk he was about to step into. Another time, the shadow extended an arm toward a little girl playing near a sharp curb. Ethan followed its direction, ran to catch her as she tripped, saving her from falling directly into the street. Her mother hugged her tightly, thanking Ethan over and over, but he knew he wasn't the hero. The shadow was. Halfway through the script, the narrator pauses briefly. "Let me ask you something," the voice says warmly. "If your shadow tried to protect you, would you trust it? Tell me in the comments. And if you're still here, don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And subscribe for more magical stories every day." But everything changed on the night Ethan went to the old bridge. He wasn't planning to go there. His shadow made him. It began with a pull, a strange, uneasy feeling. Ethan walked toward the park, but the shadow refused to follow. Instead, it split slightly from his feet and pointed toward the forest trail leading to the old abandoned bridge. Ethan swallowed hard. What's there? The shadow turned its head toward him. No face, no eyes, but Ethan felt the weight of its warning. Something or someone needed him there. Against every instinct, he followed. The woods grew darker with every step, trees hissing with winter wind. The shadow walked ahead of him now, no longer behind, leading, urging, protecting. When Ethan reached the bridge, he froze. Someone was standing at the edge. A boy about Ethan's age, shoulders shaking, head lowered. Ethan's heart dropped. He knew that posture. He knew that kind of pain. He approached slowly. Hey, are you okay? The boy didn't answer, but Ethan saw tears falling. Saw the boy's shoes dangerously close to the ledge. Saw a tremble that scared him. The boy whispered, I messed up everything. I'm done. Ethan's chest tightened. He took a careful step forward. You don't have to do this. The boy shook his head. It's too late. Ethan whispered. No, it's not. I felt like that too. But I promise you it's not. The shadow moved suddenly, wrapping around Ethan's legs, pulling him forward gently. Guiding him, Ethan stepped closer, grounding his voice. Listen, I don't know what you're going through. But I know one thing, you matter more than you think. You matter enough that I'm here right now because something led me to you. The boy's breath shook. Ethan extended a hand. His shadow extended its hand too, stretching across the wood, touching the boy's shadow. As if comforting it, as if pulling it back from darkness. The boy broke. Tears fell harder. He grabbed Ethan's hand and collapsed into his arms, crying into his shoulder. Ethan held him tightly. You're okay. You're okay. You're staying. I've got you. When Ethan walked him back toward the road, his shadow followed quietly behind. No flickering, no urgency, just a calm, steady presence. A guardian satisfied. Back in his room that night, Ethan whispered, Why me? His shadow lifted its head. Ethan asked again, voice trembling. Why do you protect me? The shadow reached toward him, stretching gently, then tapped his chest. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. Because of who I am? The shadow nodded slowly. Then something unexpected happened. The shadow stepped backward and detached from his feet. Just a little, Ethan gasped. Where are you going? The shadow pointed toward the window, toward the world, toward the darkness beyond. Then it pointed again at Ethan's heart. A final message. A final goodbye. The shadow bowed its head and dissolved into faint dust, drifting into the moonlight. Ethan stood there shaking, tears slipping down his face. Thank you, he whispered into the night. The narrator softens. Sometimes the darkest parts of us are the ones trying hardest to guide us into the light. And if this story touched you, please subscribe to Fable Glow. There's another story waiting for you tomorrow. You won't want to miss it.